You are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Info Media.
I'm Debojit Maitra. I'm from Aditya Birla. I'm not a vendor, so I don't have that much of knowledge like specific domain. But and my actual background is electronics and telecommunication engineer. So and worked on 13 years of my career into telecom industry. So finally, I have reached to the security domain, the most dicey and clueless domain, according to me, because you don't know what will happen tomorrow and what is the background of the hackers doing. So it's a very difficult task, definitely. So I like this session of this MDR. This is a very new kind of technology. Definitely, it has to be integrated with SIM and all these things. And definitely, it will have a better prospect into the security domain. So before this micro-segmentation, I like to tell you that what is basically, it is a part of the zero trust. The zero trust network is basically various segments are there. Like, for example, remote browser isolation. This is a very new thing, and it is coming in a very big way. Then software-defined perimeter. Then micro-segmentation. Like this, so many parameters are there which basically clubbing together to make a zero trust. Also, this new one, this MDR, whatever is being taught just previous session. So this is the clubbing of all these things. So we should trust or we should not trust. That is the basic concept. The micro segmentation, there are two things. One is the physical, which is in the network side. Another is an application side. When we are talking about the micro segmentation in the network side, we can have the segmentation of the VLANs. And when you are talking about the application side, then you have the segmentation of the policy. How you make a policy. And these are governed by a controller and a gateway. What is gateway? Suppose I am a VPN user. I am a VPN user, forget about that. I'm just telling my experience into this, because we have implemented in a big way. So what is my, I'm a VPN user. Okay, I connect to the network and I connect, suppose SAP, for example, or Oracle database, retake, whatever it may be. In our domain, it is basically retail industry. So when you connect, you are basically connecting to the VPN server, and from there you go to the server directly. But there is a layer. That layer may be application, may be network. Both way you can make a segmentation. How can it be do it? When you are coming, then your authentication to be first authorized by a controller. And the controller will see that whether he's a genuine or not. If he's a genuine, then it will allow the traffic to the gateway. What is a gateway is another VM. So it will ask you that, it will ask the respective server, are you ready? This particular traffic is coming. Is an authentic or not? That will be governed by an agent. That agent-to-agent communication is micro-segmentation. Whether it is a network or it is an application-based. So agent will tell, yes, I am ready. You please transfer the file. So it will authenticate and authorize the user to pass on to the sub-server. So this is the second layer of the application. So this is the pictorial thing that if it is micro-segmented, then you can have this segmentation. And this is basically without that. So without the micro-segmentation, you cannot have this controller and gateway and the agent. Okay. So this is the difference between the two things. Network is, everybody knows what is this, and application, what I just talked about, this is basically authentication and authorization. And authorization is done by an agent. That agent, what has happened, it takes even the location, it takes the MAC address. So the authentication is done after proper investigation, and the UEBA, user entity identification. What is that? It takes the complete control of your endpoint, complete control of your endpoint, and it sees that what are the activities you are doing, and that is being given to the respective server, SIM, that this person is doing this activity. If any mischievous activities is done, mischievous person is hacking your system, it will automatically block the agent and it will not allow the traffic to go inside. So that is the basic one more layer of security in the microsegmentation. Why microsegmentation? I just told you why it is required. There are two types of microsegmentation. One is the host-based, another is the your application control-based, authentication-based. What is this? Basically, this microsegmentation. Suppose, for example, if anybody at any cost has come into the network, how you may have so many prevention, so many protections you have taken, but the biggest challenge is identity. If your identity is hacked, for how, suppose for example, my name is Debojit. I have left the organization, and before leaving the organization, I have tied up with somebody that I will give my ID. I'm giving a burning example. It has happened in my organization. So when you are having multiple vendors like us, we have 300 vendors. So it's very difficult to track all the vendors' ID. So, and to delete the ID in time. So if I leave, and if my ID I'm exposed to somebody else who is basically a compromiser or a hacker, then what will happen? He will easily come into my network without having any intelligent work. Because the password is known, the ID is already known. So he can get inside, but once he gets inside, he then tries to understand where is the machine which have not been patched properly, whatever. That is an objective of the hacker is to first attack the Active Directory, to block everybody. All identifications are blocked and I can work whatever I want. So that is called active defense. So this particular thing will stop. This microsegmentation will not allow, because you may hack the system, but you may not be able to hack the agent because you are coming as an user, not the machine. Because machine you have submitted to the respective vendor or respective user or respective company. So a MAC address, agent, whatever is installed into that machine, that will be basically not available. And that is the only reason and only protection this thing can take. So you get inside, but you can't do anything. Any application or in a production-based servers, you cannot get inside. You may get at least up to the AD level. If you do not have proper protection, at least you can reach up to that, but never be able to get inside the production zone, because your production zone having the agent installed, which can communicate with the controller, one more VM and the gateway. So user, controller, gateway, server. So is a 4, is a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. You cannot bypass any of this 1 to 4 or 1 to 3. You have to go all the steps. This is the fundamental thing. And if you understand this, then you should be able to, you should implement in all the organizations as per my advice, as per my experience is concerned. Because we had this problem, but due to this, we have not been able to, save our data center. Up to the DMZ section, it was happening. But after that, nothing was happening. So this is a very real-time example I'm giving you. Then how this is working? So the micro-segmentation works on splitting the entire network into small segments. I have explained. Application works in the layer 7 and network works in layer 3, layer 4. So layer 3, layer 4, you can have VLAN. Everybody is having so many VLANs. But in the VLANs also, you can make NSX. That is micro-segmentation. But this is costly affair. In the layer 3, layer 4, micro-segmentation is costly. But if you go into that, but what happens, suppose for example, in a firewall, internal firewall, external firewall, you open a port, suppose 443 you open. And if you open a port 443, it is opened forever. You cannot block it until otherwise you manually type it. But in micro-segmentation, what happens, you have the controller works as a, not controller, the gateway works as a dynamic firewall. What is dynamic firewall? Sim khul ja. What is that? Come inside, get the work done, go outside, port is blocked. When the transfer of the data is finished, the port is automatically blocked. And this 14453, this number of ports to be defined into the controller, a gateway. So the application firewall is not a WAF. This is not a WAF. This is an application dynamic firewall. WAF is not a dynamic firewall. WAF is also a static firewall. So this physical firewall, application firewall will soon be replaced with this kind of dynamic firewalling. Because this will make your system MZ section absolutely secured. And at a very, very low cost. Very, very low cost. Because if you go into any kind of system, you have to put manpower for that. Who will do this allocation of the IP, allocation of the port, allocation of source, destination, port, block karo, kholo. It is automatically. It will sense, the agent will tell, open the port. I am ready to transfer the data. I have authenticated and authorized the user to send the data in the layer 7. Okay. So once the authorization comes in, then it will open. The port will be open. It is blocked. Maybe it is 443, but it is blocked. It is open. Once your work is finished, agent will communicate, "Hey, bhai, my work is done." So it will block. So this policy, the entire thing is based on the policy. That's why this micro-segmentation is called. Micro-segmentation application-based is basically policy-based. The company who are making this, the expert domain has to be very knowledgeable into the policy defining. If you can define the policy properly, you are safe. And if you can define the policy bogusly, then you are gone. Your money is wasted. Now comes the host-based. Just summary I have already told all of you. Host-based and network-based. Host is the endpoint. Host file. Agent. Host is nothing but an agent. I am putting an agent into the host that will always communicate another host. Another host, but the agent is there. If there is no agent, it will not communicate because it will not authorize. It may authenticate. My AD can authenticate, but AD cannot authorize. Authorization will be done by the point where the agent is installed. Agent will say, yes, I'm ready. You can send the data. Then it will be. And another point is the identity. I have already told a real-time example of identity. So identity management is a very big part in the microsegmentation. If the identity concept is gone, now I'm telling you, you have to think into adaptive identification. This is a function like y equal to fx in mathematics. So this is a function of user behavior analytics. Because if the user defined in a function of working, and if it is changed, because the hacker may not know what is your way of working, what is your timing, what are the files you handle. So that is basically machine learning based, this one, this workload. And what is machine learning? Machine learning is a simple mathematical calculus. What is that? Single output, multiple variable. What are the multiple variable? My UBA, my timing, my application searching, what are the activities I'm doing at the endpoint, all these functions comes into a matrix. And the matrix, when you differentiate, you get a value 1. Suppose delta X. So that is this workload variable. So this is the fundamental concept. I'm not going into the vendor detail. I'm just telling the fundamental concept of the microsegmentation. What is this? And how it is so important. And how to do it. When you configure, how will you take? Because I have taken 1 year time. I have 400 applications. I have taken 1 year time. Because it's not very easy, because you have to take all the parameters into consideration. If you miss any of the parameter, I'm talking in my experience, then you are lost. You are lost because your money is wasted and you cannot achieve the target. So this is already covered. Another thing is that the cryptographically encrypted application, today's day, the database to be masked. Any database to be masked. Encryption is a difficult task and very costly. DAM, all these things are very costly. But masking is not costly. You can mask it. So when two applications, maybe application and database. Database is SQL, application is, suppose, for example, .NET. So the SQL database should be masked. And the application should be encrypted. Application, you can encrypt it. Yeah. No, you cannot. Specific point, you have to identify the table first. SQL table you open, select star, your database table, and you see what are the particular fields you need are most critical. Yes. Otherwise, though, it will be, because your performance will drastically reduce also. Maybe. Only that depends, 10 to 20%, that depends upon what are the critical fields you have. Like, for example, in SAP, if it's SAP, then your most important part is the price. Your most important part is the SAP code of the particular SKU for us. So these are the things. Not all. Full table is a huge task. Your database will not open. Then CEO will remove you. Application optimization is required, definitely. That is the must. Tell me. It's not mandatory. If you do, that you can also do, but still, if your application is bypassed, your database is compromised, you can do it from other way, na? Yeah, so it is application and database should be integrated, but database can be hacked independently also with other channels. These are the benefits. What you is my, experience. You can have other also. Yeah, what are the things I have benefited after doing the microsegmentation? Yeah, 100%. Sorry?
I'm thinking like an attacker.
Yeah.
Like I'm just think that I am an attacker actually. So my target of intent is because you mentioned it is agent and agentless both actually. So my first target is to bypass the antivirus or whatever defense platform is there, targeting their agents, crashing them, and then doing the privilege escalation. So my question is, like, when a attacker think like that, they mostly use domain admin account or a service account. So will micro segmentation help actually
Yes,
in
very
that?
good. This is the exact thing what has happened to our case. I'm telling you in real time what has happened and how we have overcome it. So basically, this is an internal attack. Okay, I have done internal attack and I know what are the service account. I know everything. I'm a admin officer in a, suppose for example, SAP admin user or my network administrator. I know which one is the service, what are the service accounts in the domain and what are the active directory IPs, domain ID. Okay, I know everything, but you cannot do anything into this. You can reach, I told in the beginning, you can reach up to AD level. And if you have an AD active defense, then you cannot reach to the AD level also. Your limitation is there because the agent will not allow, because your machine where from you are attacking does not have the agent. So when you are coming to the gateway, before going into the MZ, the gateway will ask, are you authorized? No, I am not getting you because I don't recognize you because I don't know you. Very strange to me. Both has to have a communication, TX and RX. What is transmission and receive? So until TX and RX are complete cycle is done, you can just make electricity, positive and negative, live and neutral. So if you do not have the neutral, you cannot have live. So this is the same. Yeah, finish. Yeah, this is the last slide. So challenge is that you should have production zone, multiple VLANs. If you have, then you have to have multiple gateway. If you have a one VLAN, then you can have one gateway. So that is the only problem. Otherwise, it is very, is one VM means one, gateway means one VM. Controller means one VM. No cost. So this is the company. These people will tell about what these constructors they have done for us. Mr. Rajat is here. He will talk about their company. I don't want to go into that. So this is all. This is the architecture. Already I have described gateway, then controller. This is the actual architecture, how the entire thing works. Where is the question?
Use the hand mic, maybe. I'll just request you to use the hand mic, maybe. Trying to squeeze through.
I am talking in the real-time basis, not technology basis.
So, hi, sir. You have mentioned about the dynamic firewall, right? So how we can look at it in terms of cloud, right? When we are using, let's suppose, O365 account, right? where
Same.
anyone can log
Same.
in.
Same.
Right.
In the cloud, we have done it. We have not done it. We are in the process.
And when you're talking about that, it will allow the port and then it will automatically block the port, right? But there is a requirement that applications need to communicate on a particular port with the API integrations, right? In that case, how we can do the micro segmentation?
There are two things. One is the customer, another is a production server.
Okay.
So when suppose you are in the e-commerce platform, for us, AWS is our e-commerce platform. We had around $200 million at this present turnover. So now we cannot touch the customer's database. But customer PIA, we are masking. But suppose, for example, my production data is a separate VLAN altogether. And production data is being, taken care by the administrative people or development people. So we have to have an agent into those machines, not in the customer's machine. Understand?